Well, in the words of Fabrizio Romano, here we go. Pape Diallo to Norwich City looks a goer. Paddy Davitt tweeting last night that Norwich City are closing in on a deal on the Metz attacker Pape Diallo. Growing confidence it gets done in the next 48 hours. Plus, another left-sided option who can cover defensively. Welcome back to Talk Norwich City, everyone. It's Jack Reeve. This is really exciting. Pape Diallo. Now, if you've been living under a rock, let's fill you in on exactly what we can expect from Pape Diallo. 21-year-old Senegalese international left winger, can play through the middle, can play off the right. He's a right-footed player. He is currently at Metz, who played last season in Ligue 2 out in France. They got promoted. He played 28 matches for them. He had 11 goal involvements. That was broken down in 7 goals and 4 assists. He had a rating of over 7.2 on FOTMob, which is an app that I like to use. Not a sponsor. So this guy is the real deal. He can play both sides. We knew that by losing Borja Sainz, we needed to cover that area of the pitch. They kind of see Pape Diallo as somewhat of a replacement. We've also heard this week that it's very likely that Josh Sargent will be leaving. It looks likely that he'll be going to Wolfsburg. We've obviously lost Borja Sainz as well. Previous to that, we've lost Onel Hernandez, Lewis Dobbin. So lots of attacking players have left the building. Yes, we've signed Matthias Quisgård, who looks to be really exciting. Pape Diallo looks to be the next. Now, the really exciting thing with this is that Watford had a bid accepted for him. Norwich City have once again come in and hijacked a deal. We did it with Matthias Quisgård. We're doing it with Pape Diallo. This is a highly rated young Senegalese international. As I said, he's 21 years old. Certainly on the younger end of the players that we've signed so far this window. But Norwich City clearly have pulling power. We did it with Harry Darling. There was interest from Birmingham, Wrexham, Sheffield United, big players in the Championship. Watford had literally had a bid accepted for Pape Diallo, but he's opting for Norwich City. This is a deal that looks set to be done in the next couple of days. Now, the bid that Watford had accepted was £4.3 million. So you can expect the deal to be something around that mark. That is quite a lot of money for a winger that's not had any Championship experience. He has played football in the top flight of France before. As I say, last season was playing in the second division out in France for Metz. But a really interesting career so far and pretty effective in terms of output as a winger. He will take up one of the ESC slots. Now, I'm not going to bore you with exactly what ESC slots are. It stands for Elite Significant Contribution. I think every club has 4, depending on minutes played by homegrown players. Norwich City have 4. Currently, 2 are taken up. That's Mate Jurisic and Matthias Quisgård. So with Pape Diallo, they will be using one of those slots, which means they'll have 1 left. There's a brilliant explanation from Connor Southwell on the latest Pinken podcast about what ESC slots are and why they're so important in the Championship. But you don't need to worry. We've got slots. Pape Diallo will be one of those. So that's exciting. That front line is starting to shape up. Mate Jurisic on one side, Matthias Quisgård or Ante Cianats through the middle, Pape Diallo out on the left. The number 10, who knows who that will be? Oscar Schwarzer, maybe a man called Forsen. Ante Cianats, who knows? You're suddenly starting to gather some options in that area. Now, the worry is none of them are proven, other than Ante Cianats to an extent, in this division for Norwich City. You know, we can read all we want about Pape Diallo, about Matthias Quisgård, about Mate Jurisic, but until they do the business for Norwich City in the league, who knows? Who knows? There's so many moving parts. Liam Manning is working with them for the first time. Who knows what system Liam Manning will play? We've seen a couple of different options in pre-season so far. I think the most change with Manning will be at from a defensive line, whether he'll play 3 centre-backs or 2 centre-backs, how far up the pitch he'll play his wing-backs. So that's going to be interesting. You've also got an interesting kind of scenario going on in the middle of the pitch. You've got Jacob Wright, who may well be captain this season. Kenny McLean is injured at the moment. You're going to have a signing either Marko Topic or Pele Matson. So there's going to be a new player in there. So there is a very real world where on the first day of the season, you're staring at 6, 7, 8 potential new players on the pitch. And that's a lot. That's a huge turnover. And that was needed. And that's good. But this may well take a little bit of time for things to click. So Pape Diallo looks set to be signed, which is really exciting. The other line, which I mentioned from Paddy Davitt, was that Norwich City are also interested in a left-sided defensive player that can cover. Now, I've said before on the videos that the defensive area, that a lot of work has been done. We've signed Harry Darling. We've signed, we've obviously got Cordoba. The goalkeeping situation has completely changed. Let's actually just remind ourselves of the transfers so far. Let me quickly try and bring those up for you. That one. So yeah, as I say, Jakov Medic, Harry Darling, complete revamp in the goalkeeping area. Jacob Wright has come in as a defensive midfielder. So the right side looks fine. They've renewed Jack Stacey's contract. You've got Kellen Fisher. Two very good options from a right-hand side. The middle of the park looks good. You've obviously got Cordoba, you've got Darling, you've got Medic, you've got Shane Duffy who's still here, you've got Brad Hills who's still in training, you've got youth players. Centre-back looks fine as well. It's the left side that's interesting. Now, you've got two options. You've got Lucio Mahavo and you've got Ben Crescene. Ben Crescene was brought in last season, held down the left-back slot for most of the season. Lucio Mahavo came in and did a very good job, but has injury concerns and still does have injury concerns. So you're going to battle at the moment with just Ben Crescene. Now, I don't feel particularly comfortable with that, and I don't think Norwich City feel particularly comfortable with that. Now, we've had no names in terms of who that left-sided defensive option might be. The way it's been worded suggests that they won't be a routine starter. They will be more of a squad utility player, but I'm fine with that. Ben Crescene has potential. I think there were parts of his game that looked really good last season. There were parts that made me feel slightly uncomfortable. I remember the Brighton game in the Cup, which granted we were against Brighton, Premier League opposition, but he was torn to pieces that game. And there were a few other games where I thought, I'm not sure. Who knows under Liam Manning? I think, time will tell what happens with Ben Crescene. I think, to be fair to him, under Johannes Hoff-Torp, not really any player improved other than probably Kellen Fisher in terms of from a coaching perspective. So I'm expecting some of the players that are already in the building at Norwich City to improve, to come along, to really improve their game. Ben Crescene may be one. Lucio Mahavo would obviously be, well, I say obviously, would you assume be the starter, but if there's injury concerns around him in pre-season, you don't want to be going to battle with him and get 10 games in and suddenly you've got no left back. So I know that we were in for Aaron Cresswell. What was that? Probably 3 weeks ago now. As I say, by the way that Paddy has alluded to in his article, it reads as if they're probably slightly older, slightly more experienced, and not coming in to displace either Crescene or Mahavo as a starting player, but to be more of a utility option. So I like that. I like that from Norwich. It did feel at times last season that we were light in terms of some options, and injuries came and, suddenly we were having to play players out of position, and it just became a really difficult season. We don't want that to be the case this time around. We want to be feeling prepared going into this season. And you only become prepared from seeing the ball big from a long way away. And thankfully, so far, Norwich have got a lot of their transfer business done early in terms of the big ticket sales. Borja Sainz has already gone, £14.25 million to Porto. I suspect Josh Sargent will be wrapped up within the next week, £21 million-ish to Wolfsburg. There will be more outgoings, but they're the big names. And you've already made some pretty good progress in terms of incomings. We talk about Pape Diallo. He is going to be coming in the next couple of days. Matthias Kvistgård, Harry Darling, Jakov Medic. You've got your new number one goalkeeper. Things are being done early. It's not like last season where you were going into the first day of the season against Oxford away from home. Who knows where Johnny Rowe was at that time? Adam Eder was on the train up to Glasgow. It was just an absolute mess. It feels like there's somewhat of order and clarity around the place this year. If it works, who knows? Time will tell. But at least we're getting our players and our squad in order a little bit earlier. 3 games into pre-season now. We've got 5 or something left, 4. Still time to tinker. Still time to get the best out of those players. And ultimately, we'll see what happens first game of the season against Millwall at Carrow Road. But this. I don't know where I'm pointing. But Pape Diallo should be in the building. 21-year-old, left winger, right winger, through the middle, right-footed, 11 goal contributions in 28 matches. Only started 22 games, so basically 1 in 2 in terms of goal contributions and in terms of games started. Currently out in France in the second division, would have been playing Ligue 1 this season. They of course got promoted. He was a big part of that. Hopefully, will be a big part of a promotion campaign again this season. I'm excited about Pape Diallo, and I am told that in terms of statistics, he will be the fastest player in the Championship, and hopefully have some end product as well. Let me know what you think of Pape Diallo, and also fascinated to hear your thoughts on the left-sided player. Who do you think it is? Left-sided defensive player. By the time this video's out, there may well be some names dropped, but I want to hear your thoughts down in the comment section below. One last thing, a massive thank you to Match Bingo for sponsoring today's video. They are up and running throughout the Women's Euros. England play this evening, the Lionesses, in the semi-finals. I'll be playing along on Match Bingo, so why not head over and play along with me? It's bingo, and it's combined with football. You get a card, you tick off your boxes on the app, and there's potential to win big money. They have paid out over £200,000 in winnings since the app launched. I've been on there for a good few years now, and I'm really excited about the potential with Match Bingo. Links in the description. There's offers. It's safe gambling. It's 18 plus. It's Be Gamble Aware. Big thanks for watching today's video, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye-bye.